Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Teams in 20 Lunch and Learn series. Today's session is going to be centered around great resources. So today's session is split into two speakers, Jo and myself. As you can notice, Jo cannot be here with us today, but she did record her tips and tricks and the resources that she put together, as well as the explanation and some demos of that. So the way it's going to work, I will be sharing that video with you throughout this presentation. And after that finishes, we're gonna skip to the resources that I have prepared for you today.
So I'm going to kick us off with the Teams adoption guide. This is a thing of beauty if you haven't seen this before. So let me just pull this up for you. It's basically a flip book that contains everything you need to know about Teams, how to get it as adopted as best you can within your organization. So it's a lovely flip book. I love the noise it makes actually when you flip the pages. Just me, but yeah, loads of great content, lots of links out to different areas because there's so much out there about Teams. So you've got things like day in your life scenarios and walkthroughs. There's some great tips for maybe how you want to get started if you're using Teams for the first time. Great tips for how to help your help desk maybe when you first deploy Teams. So lots of great stuff in here, lots of things about scenarios, people in different areas of business might use Teams differently. Great things like links out to one page sheets of information that could help you build up your adoption content. Bit of a plan as well. You can download the planning template and that's going to help you get started. Lots of links out, as I said, to useful resources, mini trainings, thinking about security. So loads of great stuff in there, definitely worth a look. And there's also on the back page links to other guides that are available. So that is my first resource. My second favorite place to go is the superheroes community. Now, this is a community that is worldwide, so nearly 3,000 other customers in there, all sharing top tips and sharing, helping answer each other's questions. So lots of customer stories on there. I'm going to share this link with you to a form if you want to go and join that community. Let me give you a view of what that looks like. So it's a Viva Engage page or Yammer page. Lots of things going on there being shared by different people in the community, different areas of Microsoft. But yeah, great place to go. And I'm hoping this is where in the future we're going to share our Teams in 20 content as well. So I would definitely recommend signing up. They also do have a really great YouTube site as well, which is actually linked from our YouTube. So yeah, great content being shared there. So it's just a quick form for you to fill in, and we'll get you set up. As I said, really great YouTube channel. There are tons and tons of content. My third place to go is one of my favorite places. We've done a lot of sessions recently on SharePoint, and I think that the problem sometimes with SharePoint is if you're not as creative as others, you might not know what you want your SharePoint site to look like, and you could do with some ideas. So there is a fantastic site called the SharePoint Lookbook. This gives you templates of lots of different ways that you could present your SharePoint site, whether it's an event or a team project space, or it's a news site or a leadership site, whatever it might be that you're trying to create. There are some great examples in here, but not just examples. It will actually give you a template. So if I take you through some things here, so if we go to organization, maybe we want a leadership connection page. So it's giving me example here, template of what that page looks like. It's got monthly Q&As in there. It's got some stream video content, lots of announcements. I think it's got a bit of a calendar there as well. On the left-hand side here, it gives you details of what parts make up this site. So yeah, how is it all being put together and what content's in there? And you'll see here there is a add to your tenant. Now, this is something that your admin needs to do. So if you can find out what templates you would like, it's not going to let me do that right now because I'm not an admin. But if you share this link with your Teams your M365 admin, they'd be able to add this to your tenant, and you'd get this whole template that you could then go in and edit. It actually only takes 15 minutes to around about 15 minutes to add this template to your site, and then you've got this beautiful site that you can go in, create it how you want, and make it public. So if we're going through and have a look at some of the other examples, maybe I've got a conference going on and I want to build a page for that conference. Or let's have a look. Project team site. So everything I need to include about the project, how it's going, results, things like that could all be included. Charitable site, you're raising money for something. So you get the idea. Really beautiful, professional looking sites that are not going to take you forever to create. So things like, here we go, an onboarding site. So yeah, and if you're just stuck for ideas and you want to go and build your own, this is a great place to go and just get ideas of what your site could look like. Okay, so back to my slides a second. Next up, we have got M365 Learning Pathways for a couple of training areas, really. So we have these things called virtual training days, and they're available to anyone to join. They will publish the dates. You can go and learn about things like M365 and Azure, especially if you're planning to take exams. And often at the end of these training sessions, they'll give you a code so that you can actually go and take a free exam as well. So that's definitely going to be worth checking out. And also M365 Learning Pathways. Lots of people include the Learning Pathways site in Teams or in Viva Learning. And it's a great way to quickly get to learning on PowerPoint or Word or anything to do with M365 that we at Microsoft actually keeping up to date. So we keep it up to date. You're just viewing it in the place that you're working currently, which is probably Teams, and it makes it really quick and easy for you to get that content. So let's go and have a look at that. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Let's start with virtual training day. So we've got our virtual training calendar. If you click on any of these, they're going to give you dates of when things are going on. So if you're learning at the moment and you're planning on passing an exam on M365, maybe you want to do your fundamentals exam, if you click on some of these dates, it is going to tell you when these sessions are on, what they plan to cover, and you can go and sign up for that. And that is absolutely free. So great place to go, especially if you're a Teams admin as well. Learning Pathways. So fantastic resource. As I said, I'll show all these links at the end of this session as well. But you could just add it in the same way as I just showed you about the other SharePoint templates you can bring in. You can bring in Learning Pathways. All the instructions needed are there, and you can actually just have it pinned on the left-hand rail of Teams, or you could actually use Viva Learning, which includes Learning Pathways, and pin that into the sidebar of Teams. But what that's going to do is give you all the learning materials that you need to get started on M365. We could go on and on and on about resources. There are just so many. But my final place to go, and I've cheated a little bit here because I've mixed a few in here, but there's so much about Teams M365. You've got the roadmap site. So if you've got questions about what's coming out, when it's coming out, go and have a look there. You've got the technical community. There's lots of blogs, customers asking questions, customers answering each other questions. So if you're wondering if something's working in a certain way, is it supposed to work that way? That's always a good place to go. Some practical guidance and success with Teams, I'll show you that. And then a fantastic website that's run by our champions lead here, Coffee in the Cloud. if you're looking for adoption materials and ideas on how to run your champions networks as well, that's a great place to go. And you can actually sign up to a monthly program where they have these sessions to talk about champions programs and what tools have recently come out. So let's just have a quick look at some of those. So I mentioned the roadmap site. You can actually sign up to an RSS feed as well, so that you're getting notified in Teams about anything that's coming out in the area that you're interested in. So any of these things you want to know about Bing Chat Enterprise, which is absolutely amazing. If you haven't used it, you can get a bit more information about that. Then I mentioned about the tech community. So questions about should certain things work in certain ways. So if you're interested in Teams Phone, for instance, and you want to understand more about SIP phones and SIP Gateway, yeah, there's questions in there. But there's lots of resource links there as well that you might find useful. Teams admin documentation, if you're setting up and deploying Teams for the first time, or there's a new part of Teams that's been introduced and you want to learn how to manage that better maybe, then this is also a great site to go and just have all that documentation in one place. And then finally, I mentioned coffee in the cloud. I absolutely love this lady. She knows absolutely everything there is to know about Teams and adoption change. So definitely go and have a look at some of her content. And that is everything from me. That is my top 5. So over to you, Daria.
My first top resource would be the Microsoft 365 adoption. So getting started. I think this is one of the best websites. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it covers everything you need. And when I say everything, it does cover everything, and I'll show you in a second. From products to role breakdown, to resources, to training, as you can see here in the up bar, in the navigation bar, but it's quite a small picture, so I'll show you in a second. It's absolutely everything you would need on your adoption journey. So let me stop sharing my screen and actually show you the website. So this is the website that I'm speaking about. Again, you can go for roles, whether you're a business user or a champion or a developer, because all of us, according to the role we're in, we're using different parts and different products. So according to that, you can see which is your profile. You can go for products as well. We can see Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is really exciting. And you can choose the product that you're interested in from this list here. In the solutions as well, the resources you have. So in terms of the accessibility, this is another feature that I'm going to suggest in a moment, another resource I'm going to suggest in a moment. I've given you a spoiler. Adoption guides as well, which are super popular. Case studies, if you're interested in finding out more about how different customers or different what kind of different success stories that we have, and all the links that Jo has mentioned as well. The roadmap, as you can see, the remote learning in education, everything is here. In terms of training as well, coffee in the cloud, developer training, end user training, and believe me or not, I'm sometimes using this as well. So everything is put together on this website, as well as the communities that Jo has mentioned. And yeah, it's pretty much covering everything that you need to know in this case. So that will be the first one. The second one is the YouTube channel. I think the way that I'm going to go about this, I'll just go through the slides and then show you in real time. So depending on how you consume information, the YouTube channel might actually become your best friend. So the way it works, every time there's a new feature coming up or there's an upgrade coming up or released, you will see a short video about it on the YouTube channel. I don't know if you have used this so far. It would be great if you could thumbs up if you did. But if you haven't, there is a series of videos that are called Microsoft Time Savers. And it's basically showing you a tool that would save even a few seconds of your time, which adding up really helps and facilitates our workday. So I'll get back to this after I go through the slides. But it's a really cool channel. And as I've mentioned, I still use this from time to time, even though I work for Microsoft. It's really helping me a lot. Accessibility. So even though this is not necessarily related to Teams or to Outlook or adoption in general, the reason I am suggesting accessibility as a great resource is because it's a topic everyone should have basic knowledge on, from my point of view. And I was someone who did not have that basic knowledge on until a few months ago when I joined Microsoft and I figured out I know nothing, basically. So I started reaching out to my colleagues and they have suggested the same. So as you'll see in a second, this is a training that you can do. It's first of all explaining why this is relevant and why we should actually care about this in this age. And then it's showing you step by step the tools that you can use within Microsoft, whether it's Word or PowerPoint on Windows or Teams or Outlook. Each of these applications has accessibility embedded within it and tools that you can use to, first of all, facilitate your life, and second of all, help someone. So again, having a basic training on this, I think it's always beneficial to everyone, to yourself and to people that you're working with. Resource 9. So when it comes to customer stories, I put myself in the shoes of a customer because I am a customer myself to other companies, and I always like to see how other people use the same product that I use and get inspired from their ideas, because it really helps me understand more about the product, understand some ways in which I can use that product, and perhaps I've never thought of it. So if you do have time and if you're interested in finding out more and perhaps get ideas on how to use that product even more and leverage it, this website will help you do so, and it has customer stories on each and every single part of the technology that you want to look at. So again, it's worth having a look if you're on a break and you just want to, if you fancy reading an article. I think some of these stories are really interesting. And last but not the least, the blog. So it's something that Jo has mentioned as well, a resource that I use kind of every single day. And it's interesting to see, obviously, when, again, a feature is released or an upgrade is released, there's an ongoing conversation in the thread on the Microsoft blog. And it's so good to, first of all, understand more about that. And second of all, how other people perceive that change, perceive that upgrade, whether it's a positive feedback or not. So it's helping us a lot. And normally people do have questions, and sometimes these blog answers all the questions that you might have. I know it's hard to believe, but it does happen. So for the last minute, I'll just stop sharing my slides and quickly show you all the resources that I've been speaking about. The Microsoft 365 channel, first video is on Copilot in Word. Absolutely no surprise here. So you can see it's split around the product, M365 Copilot. If you're interested in Viva as well, and you have all sorts of videos that explain what is coming up and how you can leverage these products, M365 in general, PowerPoint, Word. So all of these videos are short videos. Obviously, we don't want to keep you for long, so give it a go. Accessibility fundamentals. So again, this is a training on Microsoft Learn. It takes you 2 hours and 25 minutes, and I promise it's going to be an interesting one. There are four modules that you can go through, each and every single one of them teaching about accessibility features in the applications that you use throughout the day. The customer success stories. Again, I'll share these links with you in a moment, based on security, Azure, Dynamics, 365, Teams, Windows. So according to the technology area that you're interested in, you can see separate stories. And last but not the least, the Microsoft 365 blog. Again, you'll see so many conversations going on here, and some of the questions that you might have will be responded to in this space. Thank you so much again for spending your lunch with us today. And for next week, we have some updates. There will be no session on the 4th of October. Just wanted to put it out there. We'll put it in the chat as well. But we're going to have 3 upcoming sessions on the 11th of October on managing attention, on the 18th with live events, which is going to be a session led by myself. And then on the 25th of October, a session on clip champ.